Oh, joy. Oh, joy. Good afternoon, my fellow humans. I want to congratulate Stanford Medical School on its orthopedic department for its contributions and exemplary leadership around issues of diversity. There are numerous examples of this under the quintessential leadership of Chairman Dr. Maloney. I am truly and profoundly grateful to have this opportunity to participate in this program today. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Now, here comes the main message of this presentation. That is my presentation. And I hope you don't mind me preaching a bit. I just have some motivation in that direction as an octogenarian. I hope you'll allow me that privilege. I had the good fortune early in my career to have Dr. Montague Cobb. Dr. Cobb was a mentor for me. Dr. Cobb was a professor of medicine at Howard Medical School. I invited him to be a visiting Grand Rounds speaker, lecturer, when I was on the faculty at Yale Medical School and had that responsibility. And I invited Dr. Cobb again when I was on the faculty. I'm still on the faculty now at Harvard Medical School. And as Professor Cobb began this lecture also, he said, "Good morning, my fellow humans." I had the chance to ask him later why he did that and why he introduced these lectures the way he did. Dr. Cobb explained to me that by standing and by stating and reminding us all that we are indeed fellow humans, he says that this gives us a kind of equality, which makes it more likely that we will be able to collaborate and work well and work effectively, more effectively together. Recognizing, celebrating, and exercising our common humanity has greatly impressed and inspired me as it has others. Moreover, let's remember that our DNA is 99.9% identical. The Dalai Lama said, when we meet someone, when I meet someone, the Dalai Lama said, when I meet someone, I always try to relate to the person on the basic human level. On the basic human level. On that level, I know that just like me, he or she wishes to find happiness, to have fewer problems and less difficulty in their life. Whether I am speaking with one person or whether I'm giving a talk to a large group of people, I always see myself first and foremost as a fellow human being, as another human being. If, on the other hand, I relate to others from the perspective of myself as someone different, then I would separate myself. I would then create walls to keep me apart from others. I would create the basis for my own separation and loneliness. In contrast, if I see myself primarily in terms of myself as a fellow human, I will then have more than 7 billion people whom I can feel deep connection with. This is wonderful, isn't it? What do you need to fear or worry about when you have 7 billion other people who are with you? Advancing the provision of equitable health care ain't rocket science. However, it is something that through education and the practice of assiduously following readily accessible guidelines, we can readily come much closer to providing an equitable care ideal for our fellow humans. There is no doubt that well-trained leadership combined with humanitarian motivation added to the present status quo will make for tremendous progress in the provision of equitable health care. We could start, for example, by instituting and following the CLAS guidelines. CLAS is a collection of letters, C-L-A-S. And this means clinically appropriate activities. And that is a set of guidelines that can be followed. And it is not difficult or extremely challenging to follow these guidelines. And as a matter of fact, it's almost a cookbook opportunity. It's a set of guidelines issued by the United States Department of Health and Human Services and the Office of Minority Health. And these were issued in March of 2001. And it is readily accessible. I should have provided the full reference for you, but please know that it can be reached as a publication by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, their office, and the Office of Minority Health in March of 2001. By instituting these CLAS guidelines, as they're called, this will move us substantially toward equitable, humane healthcare. So let's buckle down and get to work. I'm inspired by the following thoughts of Robert F. Kennedy. Quote, he says, each time a man or woman stands up to an ideal or acts to improve a lot of others or strikes out against injustice, he, she sends forward a tiny ripple of hope in crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring. These ripples build a current which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. So we can end our sermon here, recognizing, celebrating our humanitarian fellowship will help us to much more effectively address pandemics, climate change, political polarization, and healthcare disparities. Respectfully submitted. Thank you for your attention. Your fellow human, Gus White.